Why hello there! Do you know why you clicked on this video? It's because you want to play Star Wars: The Old Republic, but you're not sure if you know enough about the game to commit some time into it. Well, that's okay, because I'm going to tell you why you should play Star Wars: The Old Republic in this honest review video. So make sure that you are sat down and get your phone ready to call the emergency services, because this video may be too awesome for you to survive until the end. So, Star Wars: The Old Republic, where to start? There are so many things to do in the game at this current time, along with so many awesome features, that it is difficult to find a place to start this video for you. The game has definitely come a long way from launch and has earned its place in the MMO industry. But what makes it different from other MMOs, and why should you put your time into it? So let's start off with saying, Star Wars. It's right there in the title. This game is Star Wars, a huge title that so many people are already familiar with. There is a massive fan base for it. So when you come into the game, you already know what kind of setting you're in because you've already seen all this kind of stuff. It's not something new that you need to try and entice yourself into. So if you do like Star Wars, then you are going to like Star Wars: The Old Republic. The thing is with Star Wars: The Old Republic is that it is a highly underrated game. Now this is probably due to the not so great launch of the game, along with the lack of endgame content. And not only those things, but also the mass amounts of misinformation that you see online. I also don't think that there is a review anywhere that I have seen that gives SWTOR credit where credit is due. Let's take, for example, the story of the game. There are 8 individual main class storylines spread across the 8 classes that we can play as. Playing all of these storylines will give you a couple hundred hours of gameplay. Of course, you can do this a lot quicker if you decide to just skip through all of the conversations, but if you listen to them all, you're going to have a lot of story to go through. And the best part about this is that you can actually play through the entire class storyline just using the free-to-play option of the game. You heard me, the entire main class storyline for free. How is that not awesome? However, taking into consideration that if you are playing for free, you'll only be able to play the entire class storyline of 2 classes. So I guess that's where it gets a little bit less awesome. Oh, and don't worry, just because it's a Star Wars game doesn't mean that you can only play as Jedi or Sith. You can play as a stealthy smuggler, or an intimidating looking trooper with a huge ass cannon. Pew pew! Let's move on to the community of the game, because let's face it, nobody wants to play a game that's full of asshats. My general experience with the SWTOR community is that it is a very friendly one, especially the one that you will see here on YouTube. It tends to be a very helpful and comfortable community to be in. Don't get me wrong, you will find those asshats in the game, just like you will with any other game. But the one thing that I've noticed over my years of playing SWTOR is that if you join a guild, you are pretty much guaranteed to be in a very friendly environment. And of course, if you don't think you are in that friendly environment, then just get yourself out of that situation. So the community tends to be a very helpful one, which is definitely the kind of community that you want to be in when playing an MMORPG. Now let's talk about some of the content in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now it really doesn't matter what anybody else says to you. There is a ton of things to do in Star Wars: The Old Republic. From just doing story side quests or all the way to operations and the Eternal Championship. There is pretty much always going to be something for you to do. The game also has some pretty cool events, such as the Rat Ghoul Infestation and the Gree event, which are both reputation based events with a bunch of dailies and heroics and even with a raid attached. And then there's the more laid back event that we have, which is Bounty Hunter Week, where you can go pick up a bounty from the bounty board and go collect it. You can freeze your bounty and bring it back in a carbonite chamber, or you can kill your bounty and go collect the reward. There is definitely a lot to do in this game. You just need to take it upon yourself to go and do it. There is also some really nice looking weapons and armor sets that you can get from doing these kind of things, so that should motivate you enough to go and do them. Now, one of the most negative things that is happening in the game at the moment, BioWare didn't release any new operations when they launched Knights of the Fallen Empire, which a lot of people took really hard. And with good reason. It's an MMO, people want to raid. However, saying that, if you're new to the game, then you definitely have a lot of operations and raiding to do. But if you're not new to the game, then the chances are you're still pretty angry right now because there hasn't been anything new still to this day. But we have been told that more group content is coming, it's just a matter of waiting for it to get here. As for the PvP in Star Wars: The Old Republic, it's actually pretty fun, and it can also be quite the competitive environment, so if you like being competitive, then you'll probably find the PvP in Star Wars: The Old Republic quite fun. There does seem to be some class balancing issues now and then, but with the better communication that we've been having from the developers Star Wars: The Old Republic, we've been able to sort things like that out pretty quickly. And that's probably worth a mention. The developers of the game have excellent communication between themselves and the players, whether it be collecting feedback or letting us know what's happening in future updates. Something else that does grind a lot of people's gears about the game is the amount of bugs that you will find in the game and things that just don't work sometimes. I personally have never had that many issues, but I guess I'm just one of the lucky few. But this is where I've got to give credit to BioWare, because they've actually been releasing patches and fixes for these things as often as they can. They definitely know how to show their players that they really do care for them. Now I really hope that what I've said so far has helped you in deciding whether you want to play Star Wars: The Old Republic or not. This is actually the first time I've done this type of video, so I probably didn't help at all. So I invited a friend of mine called TheHiveLeader to come and help me with this video. And if his honest words don't have an effect on you, then his sexy damn voice will. Let's all give it up for TheHiveLeader.
Hi everyone, I am the HiveLeader, an MMO YouTuber and lover of Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah, I admit it, I love Star Wars: The Old Republic. In fact, I feel it's one of the most underrated MMOs on the market. Why aren't more people talking about this game? Well, it did get a bad rap due to overhype before its release, having some missing features, people's dashed expectations, and then it had a lackluster free-to-play conversion. But more on that in a second. When the game launched a few years ago, the only major complaint I saw from players that were bailing to other games was that it was just World of Warcraft with a Star Wars skin. And my response was, what's wrong with that? World of Warcraft is a good game, despite what a very vocal minority may say. But instead of a fantasy setting, it has Star Wars. That's like an automatic 10 extra points right there. I mean, how is this a bad thing? Now, I will admit, when the game launched, it was missing quite a few features. But over the years, the game has grown into a fantastic MMO. It's well polished, very feature-rich, is consistently updated, and has only gotten better since launch, which very few MMOs can say. The developers have also shifted their focus and concentrated more on their strength. This means moving more towards story-driven content updates, as seen with the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. They've also completely revamped the leveling experience in the game so that all you need to do are the story portions. They've cut out all the fluff and made an honestly amazing leveling experience if you enjoy great storytelling. This game, now more than ever, feels like the Knights of the Old Republic sequel we never got. Frankly, the only thing that I really dislike about Star Wars: The Old Republic is the free-to-play option. But that's because I don't think SWTOR ever actually went free-to-play. I think they just introduced a free trial version that's very restrictive. At first, this upset me, but when I changed my mindset and took free-to-play out of the equation, I treated the game like it was a subscription MMO and found it was fine. With the consistency of updates and the subscriber rewards that I get every month, I feel I get more than my money's worth. That's why I always recommend Star Wars: The Old Republic to people looking for new MMOs. Just make sure to subscribe to the game and to SWTOR Central, because in my opinion, this game deserves more attention.
Wow, awesome words from a YouTuber who focuses on MMO content. You can trust in the HiveLeader. He is all-knowing. If any of you ladies and gentlemen are wanting to hear more of that sexy and soothing voice, then you can check out the HiveLeader in the link I left in the description below. And with all that being said, I think we are nearing to the end of this video. Now before we do end the video, I just want to throw out the one thing that pretty much everybody hates about the game. And this is the optimization of the game. Even if you have a £2,000 rig to play your games with, you will still not see 60 FPS in highly populated situations such as PvP or operations. In fact, if you're using quite a low-end rig, this game is probably going to be quite unplayable for you when it comes to doing those kind of things. So yeah, the engine of the game and the optimization is definitely incredibly poor. However, BioWare does know that this is a problem, and they are constantly seeking new ways to improve the optimization of the game. But don't worry guys, you're only really going to see those kind of problems when you're doing 16-man raids or PvP matches. It is literally only those situations. Everything else you will probably find is more than playable and more than what you need to enjoy your visual experience along with your gaming experience. So there you go ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this video helped you somehow, somewhere. And if it did, then make sure you leave a like, especially if you managed to make it all the way to the end and survive without needing to use your emergency services that you had ready at the beginning of the video. But wait, make sure you keep it there, because even if you did survive the video, after reading some of the comments which I expect to be on this video, your eyes are going to bleed, at which point I recommend you call an ambulance. That will be all folks, thank you for watching. If you want to check out some Star Wars: The Old Republic videos, then feel free to look across my channel, and as just about always, I will catch you guys in the next one.